Welcome to the Stonington Beautification special meeting. It is Monday, June 15th. The time is 5:02. We are going to start with a roll call. Please let me know that you're here. I want to identify everybody. Danny Oliverio.
Here.
We don't have Io Bryant yet. Eric Beverly cannot make it. Kristen Parsons.
Here.
Carol Nossick.
Here.
Kit Hartford. Here. Sean Mastriani.
Here.
Okay, great. And we just have one guest, so thank you. You're definitely welcome to speak at the end of the meeting. I do want to start calling this meeting to order. I'm going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I do ask if you can stand if you can, and I do have a flag we like to keep with a tradition. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. Carol, thank you for reminding me to do that.
Absolutely.
I want to welcome our guest, Susan Cullen, who is our new Director of Economic and Development. So, Sue, we're so excited that you're on board for the town of Stonington. You're a resident of Stonington. You're a passionate volunteer leader, and I know you have such an amazing experience in the town of Groton. So welcome. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure, Julie. Very happy to be here.
Thank you. I do want, let me just make sure I'm not forgetting anything, but I do want to start with the approval of minutes, and that is for February. Carol just noticed a typo in Deb Downey's last name. So we're just going to have to correct that. Is there any other corrections? Okay, hearing none. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
I make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Okay, and just say your name when you do that, Carol.
Carol Nossick.
Thank you so much. Is there a second?
Second. Oh, sorry, Kate, go ahead.
No, I know. It's hard to get used to. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, all in favor say aye. Okay, thank you. Okay, sorry. This is so new to me. So we're going to start with correspondence. We had one correspondence, and this is from, forgive me, hang on one second. Pressure. This is from Rick Newman. He's on climate control on our climate control task force. He writes, "Nice job on the triangle by the Shell station. It looks great. Somewhere I saw a post requesting other areas and ideas. I don't know if you've been down Cottrell Street since they redid it, but there isn't a speck of green on it. It would have been a great opportunity for bioswales, rain gardens, etc. But I guess they didn't want to remove the line. So depending on what the Department of Public Works will allow, there could be places for at least some planters." So I just want to, I know I sent you guys this. It's just the map of Cottrell Street. It's something that we can put on next month's agenda to have a discussion, and maybe we can invite Mr. Newton to join us as far as some suggestions. But that's the only correspondence that we've had so far. So we're going to move on. All right, we're moving to the Stonington Beautification. Carol Nossick had a nice idea as far as with all the planters that we're doing and gardens that we're doing. Sean did a great job with the Route 1 Island project this spring, but we were talking about, she was mentioning having an actual Stonington Beautification sign, up for like a week or two, kind of acknowledging what we're doing as people like drive by and see our landscape projects, kind of educating the public as far as what we're doing in Stonington. So Carol, do you want to
Oh, sure. Just a removable, so I wouldn't think I would have to go through zoning or anything, just like a political lawn sign, but much, much smaller. I think it's only like 12 by 18. And it would just say something like, "Thanks to our community, another completed job by the Stonington Community Center." Of course, wording can be figured out. Be double-sided. So like Sean's project on Route 1, because a lot of people, if you look at Facebook, were wondering like, who did that? So now it's just kind of a movable little pat on our back and a thanks to the community for sponsorship as well. And we'd leave that there for a couple weeks, and then, maybe we'd have like 10 of them, and then move it to, Donahue Park or the island by Evans, or, wherever the next project should be. I contacted ABC Photo to keep it local in the Mystic Village, and they could, for under $200, they could do 10 double-sided our own wording and image with a little sign, waterproof sign with the metal stands. So just something to think about. It kind of thanks the community and also gives acknowledgement for our hard work as well. Anything else?
No, I think it's a great idea. Any comments on that from the committee?
Love that idea. I think that we could potentially have a couple permanently stationed in some of our bigger projects, like the one next to Evans, things that we're doing a lot of ongoing upkeep, and then having a couple of extra for like new projects and things that we're doing.
Yep. We could do that. Yep.
I see a caller just joined us. Is Deb Downey, is that you?
Yes. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you, Deb. I'm sorry if you had trouble logging in. I had a little glitch, but I'm glad you got in okay. So welcome, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
We're just on the agenda for Stonington beautification signs. And Kristen Parsons, you wanted to discuss committee profiles. You want to discuss your idea?
Yeah, wondering, as Carol mentioned, all of the kind of Facebook publicity regarding the Mystic Route 1 project. I'm wondering if now would be a good time, as we continue to work on a lot of other projects, to kind of all of us answer a couple of different questions that we could post with a picture, so that the town could get to know the different committee members, and that way they would have a face to a name if they have a project or something that they want to contact us about. They'll see the varying age and background and different things that bring to our committee. I was wondering if you guys would think that would be a good idea to then post on social media so people could get to know our group.
Well, I
think. Oh, go ahead.
no, just to
and friends, just make sure you announce yourself before you speak for the minutes. Thank you so much.
Carol Nossick, I think it's a great idea. I think, now that we've had so many projects underway, I think visibility, not only with, say, a temporary sign, but also with social media, so that people can see who are the people that are participating in these things. And like you're right, Kristen, when somebody has a question, and instead of reaching out, like your friends would know or my friends would know that I'm on this thing, but we can expand our visibility a little bit more too. So I think that's good, and it's nice to who knows, maybe somebody would reach out and say, oh, I see so-and-so is in the garden club, or I see so-and-so is interested in, like IU, with more of the historic monuments. I've got a great project that could happen, so and we're a very diverse group in, many ways, and which is nice that we represent the town of Stonington as well.
Any other comments?
somebody want to draw up some questions, standard questions that we can ask one another and have that available?
Yeah, I did do a quick rough draft that I had sent to Julie, but certainly open for suggestion. But thinking of, current time on the committee, if you have an occupation outside of the committee, how many years you've lived in Stonington, like places that you enjoy visiting within the town, and then a couple of like fun, questions to get to know each of us, maybe a little more specific. Having a couple of standard questions that maybe we all answer, and then having a couple that are unique to that person, so it's not the same post every week.
That's
great.
a good start. If Julie could circulate those questions.
Absolutely. And I agree. I think, we just definitely want to be approachable. And obviously, we do have our Facebook page, but not everybody's on our Facebook page. Roger Kaiser has just And I think I forwarded you all that. We are going to have an email address, and that's going to come up right, if they go to the town website, that comes up and it shows, the members of our committee. So yeah, I mean, I think, I know we've been at this for a few years, but definitely we need to, the public can approach us with their ideas. And not only that, on how they can volunteer, because as you all know, our job list is increasing as far as things that we're trying to take care of, and we really need volunteers. So I think we want to make sure people feel welcome, even if they can't vote on things right now. Being part of this committee and having their comments comments from the public and getting their feedback is going to be really important for us moving forward. And no, I think that's a great idea. So yeah, I do apologize. I didn't forward that yet, Kristen. I'll forward those questions, and we'll work on that. And then, we can start by, posting things on our Facebook page and as far as everybody's background, and again, really pushing the volunteers. I think it's going to be good moving forward. So thank you for that. I'll keep that on the agenda for next month. I want to move on to pollinating pathway project. It's something that Danielle, our first woman, started, and it's kind of like sustainable Stonington, reminding people to, try not to use insecticides, things like that, in their plants, and showing ways that they can plant easy pollinating gardens to support our ecosystem. So she did allocate some money that luckily did not come out of our budget. So Carol Nossick was able to plant pollinating plants in the VFW park and the Pawtucket sign. And Eric Beverly is going to be planting more on the Donahue Park gardens. Stonington Human Services allocated $300 of their own operating budget, and I was able to put a pollinating garden in the front of their building that, they're going to be doing more social services or work groups outside in the future. So it was nice to clean up that area. And I was actually approached by the Stonington Arms. She would like our assistance in helping them start a pollinating garden for the seniors at Stonington Arms. That would be, again, using their funding, but we could help support them and they would supply some manpower. The other one that I was approached by, Deb Downey's sister, who is a teacher at the high school, is possibly doing a pollinating pathway at the high school, which would be great to get our local students involved in this project as well. So that's something I'm going to put on next month's agenda, and hopefully we can get her as a guest. Right now, with the way things are with COVID-19, it's difficult to bring groups together and come. This is why we're doing a virtual meeting, but we really do want to educate and bring our high school students involved. I know Sue Cullen, she's involved a lot with the Boy Scouts, so we have a lot of opportunities to work with our young people. So that's something we really want to definitely work on, even through this pandemic, on doing it in a safe way. Any comments on the pollinating pathway? Kristen, did you want to add anything to that? I know you had sent something out to the committee.
Yeah, just also not only the public spaces that we've been working on, but you can actually certify your own yard as a pollinator pathway. And so I actually did that for our property. And there's just a couple of questions. If you go through the pollinator pathway link on the town website, it will bring you up to how you can get involved. And there's a spot that has your kind of address and asks a couple questions about whether you have pollinating plants, a couple of other things specific to them. And then you can become certified and it gets added to our Stonington pollinator pathways list.
That's great.
Any other comments on that?
Yes, Julie, I'd like to, this is Danny. Public Works has also put in, thanks to Steve McNair, he's done a pollinator garden at the town hall, 4th District Hall, behind the high school, and the Velvet Mill. I know he's done those 4 at least already so far.
And thank you for reminding me, Danny, because local educator Noreen Keppel has been instrumental with that project as well. I thank you, because I would not have want to leave her out. I think Danielle wants to do some type of virtual kind of education in the future. I think someone like Noreen Keppel would be fantastic as far as showing the different areas that and examples as far as how to put a pollinating garden in your own yard. And she was do it as little as $25. So definitely we want to continue to improve the community, but we also want to help educate the community as well. So
I
think,
believe Noreen and Steve have been working together on that.
that's wonderful. But yeah, I do commend our first selectwoman, Danielle Cheesebro. She's really taken the lead on this, and obviously she's such a huge support in our committee. So that I'm very very appreciative of her supporting our committee and our mission. So anything else on that as we move forward?
Danny, can you just repeat the second place after the town hall before the high school?
The 4th District Hall in Mystic. That's on Broadway Avenue.
Thanks.
Yeah. And then you got the Velvet Mill too.
Yes.
That one I believe was just added last Friday or today. I don't. If it hasn't been, it should be any day now.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Anything else on that? Okay. Moving on. So the Mystic Pequot Cephas Cove Bridge, and we keep going back with that. We assume that is the name of the bridge.
Yes.
And I hope you all got my photos. I do apologize. I don't even want to attempt to try to share on this and hit the wrong button. I've had, Stacy Haskell's been amazing as far as trying to train me, but it's very difficult when you're using your laptop from home and you're afraid you're going to hit the wrong button. So you all should have received this. I'm happy to announce that I did report back in February that we did get approval from the Police Commission unanimously that obviously with the Stillman Avenue Bridge and the Wesley Pawcatuck Bridge, they know the quality of the work that our committee is doing with great help from the Public Works Department and Nate Michelli and Danny and the Public Works guys as far as building the planters. As far as the planters, as far as the design, we're going to have to make sure that, it's ADA compliant, that people aren't, bumping into it, so there's going to be a unique design to this. Danny, do you want to start talking about, because you guys you've been there a couple times, right? Looking at it.
We have, yes.
Yep.
And we planned on just doing the same thing as we did at the other two bridges. They're going to sit on top of the railing instead of in front of the railing. So you can access, on one side of the road, there's a platform where people go fishing and you can walk down, and then the sidewalk's on the other side. So, so obviously we need to do something. And that was the Police Commission's only concern, was just not blocking the ADA compliant stuff.
If for some reason, if someone did not get these photos, please let me know and I will forward them to you after the meeting.
I did not get them, but
You didn't get, okay, I'll make sure to forward these to you.
I have pictures. I took some when we promoted the idea, but I just mentioned that in case nobody else got it. But
No, absolutely. Because I think I forwarded either today.
I had a question just on this is Kit Hartford. Danny, when you went and looked at it, are you thinking that the boxes would be on both sides of the road, obviously, but on the inside, the road side, on both sides?
Yes, the railing in between the sidewalk and the railing in between the
Fishing
sidewalk
area, something, yeah. That's
Would be
good.
on the traffic side of it or the pedestrian side of it, the boxes?
I think we figured the traffic side, but I mean, it can be changed. It doesn't really.
I think it should be the traffic side on the double railing. I think it should be on the traffic side. Yeah. I just wanted to know what you were thinking.
All right. That's the one right in between the sidewalk and the platform, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
And were you think, because you've been down there a couple of times, I've been wondering, are we going to do two on both sides or one? It's a fairly large expanse. That's why I was.
It is. So I don't know. We were possibly thinking 3 on each side, I think is what we figured when we did it. Then
That's correct. Yep.
is that what we did on the Stillman Avenue Bridge, Julie, too? Is 3 on each side?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
3 on each side.
Okay, great.
So in that, the grant that we just received, so formal announcement, the Mystic Garden Club is funding $1,200 for us to construct these. Obviously, and I explained to the first select woman and Public Works Department that, you know, we got the approval from the police commission and then COVID-19 hit and we kind of like put things on hold with the ask. So we were delayed. I did hear meeting from, and I'll forward this to you, Kristen, so you can put it in our minutes. But Danielle messaged me because I did put a request in if the Public Works Department can again construct these planters during the winter time when it's a little slower for them and if time allows. And then like years before where we were paying for the previous, like the Stillman Avenue, we paid for the materials. The first bridge, Wesley Pawcatuck Bridge, was that was paid for from the Ocean Community Foundation as far as the materials. So I did hear back from Danielle, which I'm happy to report that the Public Works Department confirmed that they would schedule the construction of the planters in the winter hours at the end of December. However, we're running out of room to store them. So I'll finish the letter, but I know that kind of came up too. We were discussing on whether we want to just keep the planters up in the future. That's something that we can talk again in our next meeting, or if they could be stored by the committee. So, you know, and I appreciate them reaching out to us if they're having trouble storing them. Also, they confirm that since this is a state bridge, this is referring to the Pequot Bridge, we would need to apply for an excavation permit and the town may have to sign a legal agreement with the state accepting maintenance of the planters. This would need to be approved at a selectmen's meeting and by the state of Connecticut. And then she gave me the contact information, which I'm sure, Susan, I'll probably need your help with this going forward. But yeah, so it's a step in the right direction. So we do have a contact person. His name is Dan McBride of the state of Connecticut DOT Highway Operations. So I will construct an email and reach out to him to start the process. And obviously we would need the support of the Board of Selectmen.
Julie, real quick on that. When we brought this up at the beginning, Darren Stewart did speak to somebody at the state, and I forgot who the name of the gentleman is that he did speak with.
Okay.
So that was in there, and also Heather Summers did offer to help us in any way we needed to get the approval from the state.
So when you went to the police commission, I apologize. So when you went to the police commission meeting, Chief Stewart did reach out to someone from the DOT.
He did. Keith Chapman, I believe, is that the name? Carol. Is it Keith Chapman or
No, it's
Chapman.
no, it's Chapman, but it's
It's
Rick.
Chapman.
Rick.
Oh, Rick.
From
Yeah.
Norwich, from DOT District 2.
All right.
So
I believe he talked to him already.
So we'll just make some follow-up calls, and I will reach out to Dan McBride, this information that did come from, I'd assume Bomber McCrell and Danielle. So, you know, I think, and I mentioned this before, if we can get this approved and then, you know, have the Public Works Department build them in the winter, we'll be all set to get them up next spring. I did let the Mystic Garden Club know, and I want this in the minutes because obviously we were hoping this would be approved before we got approved for this grant. That if we didn't get this approved, that we would give the money back, which is $1,200. I did have a great conversation with members of the Mystic Garden Club. They are in full support on what we're doing for Mystic. They love the planters on the Stillman Avenue Bridge and the Wesley Pawcatuck Bridge. They know we take care of our planters, so they're really excited about, you know, getting this on the Mystic side. So we're hoping this goes through no problem. Obviously, we really want to cooperate with the state of Connecticut and the DOT and do this right and make sure they're safe. So, we definitely want to work with possibly Nate Michelli of the Public Works Department to make sure the design is approved so we can move forward. Any comments?
Julie, do we have to wait till next meeting to talk about leaving them up or taking them down? Is that, or?
I'm happy to discuss it now. I mean,
I just don't want to mess anything up if we're not allowed to add anything. I mean, it's really not new, I guess, but.
Yeah, it's not new. So why don't we bring it up next meeting?
All right.
Because so that's fine. Any other comments on the Mystic Pequot Cephas Cove Bridge or any questions? Okay, all right, moving on. Okay, so the Ocean Community Foundation normally purchases and puts up the 30 plus flower pots in downtown Westerly and Pawcatuck. A couple years ago, it was one of those things where it was questionable if they were going to put them up, because it's always about funding and making sure that the businesses are taking care of these pots. So a couple years ago, we did do several dine to donates and help raise some funds for the foundation. Obviously, with COVID-19, the foundation, the Ocean Community Foundation, has not been able to have a lot of their fundraising, and they did not have the funds available to put the flower pots up. I will shout out to Sean Mastriani for really stepping up and fundraising and getting money to the foundation. And it's one of those things where Sean and I discussed, and I know it kind of put it out to all of you, is that I do think that we have funds available to support some of these flower pots in the Pawcatuck side. I am going to ask for $500 to be allocated for these flower pots. It sounds like we're going to be having 11 flower pots in Pawcatuck, which is a high for us. And it would definitely bring some, how do I word this, but just some smiles and some new momentum for downtown with everything that's going on. And it's really showing support for local businesses, but also our residents and also our visitors that are driving through downtown Pawcatuck. I mean, the Westerly Pawcatuck Bridge has a lot of traffic, and we like those sidewalks and flowers, to stand out. So that is something that I would love for this committee to support. I do feel like the funds are available. Is this going to be something we're going to fund each year? That's something we can discuss. I don't, for this project, I don't think it's a lot of money to really make sure things are done right in downtown. So again, Sean, thank you for taking the lead on this. And because I don't think if we stepped up, this would have happened. I think we wouldn't have been able to see the pots this summer on either side of Westerly and Pawcatuck. So is there any comments on that?
I think that's something that we could maybe build into our itemized list of budget needs for next year, as we start to track all of the things that we want to add for our requests, that we could identify an amount that we want to contribute and keep that as a line item.
But as far as the $500, it would have to be allocated now for this season. So I am asking the committee to allocate this money now. So we're supporting the chamber and supporting downtown for this season. And thank you, Kristen. That's something, that $500, if this committee decides, we can talk about it next month in the budget that we're putting forth. So, but it is one.
Is that?
I'm sorry.
Are you making a motion? Are you making a motion?
We can do that now, or we can do that at allocation of funds. But I just kind of wanted to bring that up now.
This is Carol. I think it's a great idea because you want the streets and the sidewalks to be enticing, which therefore hopefully brings business to our local businesses that have been out of commission for so long. And it also just driving through. I mean, how many times have we heard, oh, even just the bridge planters look great. So we want to draw people in too. So I think it's a great idea. And we've been funded this year. So I think $500 is a pittance for what hopefully the businesses will get in return.
And on that too, so, I know Sean brought up a value point with the watering and the taking care of the pots downtown. Yes, definitely the businesses should be helping to water. They definitely should be taking ownership of these. It is one of those things that I have in the past have had to water a couple of these because businesses have gotten overwhelmed or they're dealing with young staff and they just, can't put it in their schedule of things that, tasks for. But I am going to reach out to, if we allocate this money, if these pots go in Pawcatuck, I am going to reach out to every business over to please water these pots. But I want to get more volunteers stepping up and, walking through downtown. If they see litter in the pots or on the street, I think it's a good opportunity to get more volunteers and families to step up as far as helping to take care of a lot of what we got down, a lot of what we have going on in Stonington. So if there's any other, we can make a motion and allocation of funds if that's okay. But is there any other comment? Okay. So I do want to acknowledge, and we, as far as moving on to the thank yous, we were in a situation this spring where we had a lot of depleted funds. We had just paid off the cost of the material for the Stillman Avenue Bridge. There really wasn't a lot in our savings. The Pleasant Acres was flowers on the Westerly Pawcatuck Bridge. Sean, let me just go back to my little thank yous. I think I just sent this to you guys. Sean and Antonio Mastriani were able to donate the spring plantings for both the Stillman Avenue and Westerly Pawcatuck Bridge. Carol Nosek donated the flowers for the Stonington Police Station. Cedar Ridge Landscaping donated again the Route 1 and Pequot Trail planters. We've been donating a lot of money. I just want to bring this up. We've been donating a lot of money within our committee. I did kind of put it out on Facebook, just knowing the dire need that we needed to get the Stillman Avenue Bridge sponsored. I had, probably 2 posts and people really rallied. I was just really proud of our community. Graysale Brewing donated $100 sponsorship. Alyssa Morrison, $100. Robert Stachin, $100. Again, Antonio and Sean Mastriani, $100. Judith Marie, $100. Our good friend Deb Downey, $100. Heather Summers, $100. So it was definitely, knowing the situation of our community, I could cry right now how people really support what we're trying to do and made it happen. So I think, I've been getting thank you cards out. I do want to make sure that we are thanking the people, especially on the Route 1 and the Route 1 Shell Station Island that Sean and Antonio, basically project managed. So I definitely want to make sure we're acknowledging and continue to acknowledge. But also, I think we've been a little shy with the ask the community, but I think we're finding that people really want to support us. So it's kind of a beautiful thing. And, I definitely want to make sure that we're acknowledging these people.
Julie, can you just send that list of names and amounts to me after the meeting?
Absolutely. I think I actually sent that to you, Kristen, but I'll send it again. Yeah, I did a lot at the end of my work day.
Okay, I just haven't checked my email yet.
Yes, please. No, thank you so much for doing the minutes. Moving on to volunteers. Again, posting on social media the importance of our volunteers. Not everybody can make meetings, right? Not everybody, wants to commit to a town committee, but I think now's a perfect time with a lot of teenagers, families, I think there's a lot of people out there that want to get involved and don't know how to. So I think having our new email address is going to be helpful, but we're really going to need help watering and weeding a lot of our memorials, our gardens. Kristen had mentioned even like our sidewalks really could use help. But, that's something that I really want to be more proactive with and really build our volunteer list and let them feel like how important it is they are part of this committee. They might not have a vote, but how important it is to be part of this committee. So any comments on that?
Julie, do you have a contact with anyone at the high school that kids could get credit for helping us out with that kind of stuff on our committee? I don't even know if that's something that you'd want to do, but
Definitely with the Career Center and the guidance department, you know, a lot of them I think do send them to us. But again, it's one of those things where it has to be, you know, making sure that there's, you know, because like I'd love to get the student government involved, but we have to make sure they're doing it safely and they're still wearing masks if they're close together and social distancing. So I mean, I do. That's something we've had a lot of volunteers get our own kids to volunteer, right? So, but that's something I just really want to, you know, get our senior citizens involved. I want to get all age brackets, you know, because even if it's just, you know, checking one pot like in front of Mills, you know, downtown Creamery, or, you know, going into the VFW park and just pulling a couple weeds. Because, we're all, you know, a lot of us are working, and like even this morning I had to go and water the Pawcatuck sign and the VFW, the pollinating gardens that Carol did a beautiful job, and just making sure we're taking care of that. But we really need to increase, you know, our volunteer base. And we do have a couple of volunteers that are stepping up to water the flowers on the bridge. But want them to feel welcome, that I want to, you know, I see that there's weeds. Because it was funny, even like I was watering the Pawcatuck sign, and someone drove by and like, oh, take care of those weeds, would you? And I'm like, and I wanted to say, yeah, and I have to get to work really soon. So it's one of those things where we're really doing our best, but we are so thin. We're all very, very thin. So we do want the community to know that we're doing the best we can, but we really could use their help as well. So any comments?
Julie, I don't want to interrupt you, but just a couple of thoughts at the high school. I'm sure you know Janice Lamb from the Career Center, but Alyssa Whitman teaches the environmental science classes there. I've talked in her classroom quite a bit. I know her pretty well. I'm sure that she'd be happy to, you know, either bring classes or, you know, suggest kids from, you know, this year's class that might, you know, be willing to do their volunteer hours. A lot of the kids do their 10 hours over the summer. And I can also hook you up with a bunch of the Boy Scouts in the database for that. I'd be very happy on all fronts to help you with that.
Thank you. And on that too, Susan, thank you for that. I so appreciate that. Obviously, everybody knows we have a sensory garden at West Vine Street School. Right now with COVID-19, we don't have access to the back of that building just yet. You know, it's one of those things, but moving, it's going to happen this year, maybe next summer. But you know, it is a beautiful outdoor classroom that the Stonington residents invested in, and it's going to be really important to keep, you know, that garden up. And I know Dean's Mill is looking in as one as well. The Stonington High School has a courtyard that could always use maintenance. So yeah, I think there's a lot of projects that we can get our young people involved, or some of our seniors, or just, you know, our new retirees that are looking for something. So yeah, we really want to engage the public. It's kind of sad though. It's one of those things where, you know, we want to engage, but we also have to be like, all right, well, you got a social distance, you have to wear a mask, you know, but we still want to engage them and make them feel welcome. So it might be one of those things where, you know, we're asking people to do things like on their own or with one other person, you know, instead of having like a big group of people, you know. So I think that's something that we'll have to just monitor and, you know, see what we can do. So thank you, Susan. I really appreciate that. Okay, anything else on volunteers? All right. So again, I just really quick on sponsorships. I think moving forward to this new year, you know, we really want to be respectful to businesses. You know, it's not a good real year to ask. I think it's one of those things that restaurants want to do it, Dine to Donate this winter, you know, that's great. But it's one of those things where kind of like I think anybody that, you know, any nonprofit, anyone is having trouble fundraising right now. I don't know everybody's opinion on that, but, you know, even I think sponsorships are key. I think there's some businesses or residents that would like to sponsor our committee and some of our flower boxes. That's something I would love to get your feedback on. Like I said, it was nice to see residents step up and sponsor the Stillman Avenue Bridge. So I kind of wanted to get everyone's feeling on fundraising and sponsorships for this year. So any comments on that, and just announce yourself. Awfully quiet. I know it's a touchy thing. You know, a lot of families are struggling, businesses are struggling. So we'll just have to, you know, we're very grateful to have, you know, monies this year from the town to keep up with what we're doing. We're very, very grateful for that.
Yeah.
Right, so-
I'll say something. Oh, it's Carol. I think you're right. We're, you know, lucky that maybe this is the first year that we've been funded by the town. So maybe that's, you know, kind of a karma or something, because we really can't go out. I know I'm involved in the Historical Society and the Garden Club. You know, we toured. I'm also on a board for a local Wounded Warrior golf tournament, and everything's being postponed because you really can't go ask people that have been struggling, you know. So, you know, we just have to be creative or just use the funds that we have and, you know, it's awful because I'm sure the local businesses in past years would love to sponsor that, but they just don't have the money and they haven't had that for months. So I think we're just going to have to use what we have and readdress it next year, and hopefully things will be much better.
Any other comments on that? The other thing too, and not to leave out grants, you know, that's something that we always have to have an eye out and continue to write for grants. You know, we were very lucky to get the Mystic Garden Club to support us. That was so generous, and I greatly appreciate this committee and advocating for that with Sean and Kit. This committee really stepped up, and the people were just so generous from the Garden Club. They really want to support our committee, so that was really, really kind of them. So as far as moving on to discussion of town funding for next month's agenda, which is July 20th when we meet again, I do want to put like a rough draft together as far as making sure that we're allocating money to support our current projects, but also to support, you know, some of the things we went to the Board of Finance with, and that's, you know, new trees, more pollinating gardens, things to that level. You know, obviously, I think with the Route 1 project that Sean put out, that ended up not costing anything, but that's something that we definitely want to make sure we're budgeting to take care of in the future. Sean, do you want to speak on that at all? Did I lose you?
No, I'm still here. We were able to get donations so that we didn't have to use any of the funds. We thought we would be able to get donations so that money can be used for other projects this year.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you. And but yeah, I mean, I think just moving forward that we just want to make sure we're taking care of it. So if you see the need, I mean, anything that we've worked on, we want to make sure we're taking care of moving forward. Okay. Anything else on that? But as far as the town funding, again, I just want to say that I am so appreciative. I know everyone on this committee is so appreciative. We were kind of worried, but we were like also expecting to get cut. But I think the Board of Finance and especially the Board of Selectwomen, who have been so supportive with us, understand what we're doing, and you know, the feel of, you know, people are driving through town. Like we are, you know, we're a great community, and you know, this has been very, very positive to be supported from our Board of Selectmen and our Board of Finance. You know, really, really positive, because yeah, we got to keep things moving and keep things positive and show our community that, you know, this is a beautiful town, and we're going to support each other, right? All right. Anything else on that? Okay. Allocation of funds. I think the only thing right now on the table is the Pawcatuck Pots through the Ocean Community Chamber. Is there a motion to allocate $500 to the Ocean Community Foundation for $500?
This is Kristen. I make a motion.
Is there
Sorry, Danny.
Oh, no, sorry, go ahead.
Is there a
second it?
Okay, so we had, so who seconded it? I'm sorry. Where's that, Kit?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. All right, any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, the motion stands. Thank you, everybody.
Great.
The community is going to be extremely excited about that. I know Lisa Kinnicky, that foundation is working their tail off right now supporting downtown. So thank you for that. On old business,
Julie, just one question real quick. Is Westerly, is there plans of doing it on the westerly side too, or no? I'm just wondering.
Yes, I don't know what the number is though, Danny. I know, Sean did a great job as far as rallying, as far as donations. I know majority of the money came from Pawcatuck, so I know, again, it's nice that more pots in Pawcatuck, as far as what I understand.
All right.
And,
Danny, usually it usually costs about 2,200 to 2,300. So with the beautification's money and people that have made donations, they're probably at about 1,800. So pretty much almost all the pots, I think, will go back out.
Oh, all right, nice. All right.
Julie, this is,
yes, go ahead, Kit.
did you talk about the welcome sign? Did I miss that?
Oh, did I? Oh, I think I skipped it. I do apologize. We'll definitely get back to that. I do apologize. I knew I'd mess up somewhere, Kit.
That's not bad.
Thank you for that. Thank you. To finish up the Pawcatuck pots, I did talk to Pleasant Acres because, early on they were hearing that the foundation wasn't gonna be doing the pots, which they understood, and it was like, they have to prep for this. So, there's been just a bit of delay because they wanted to make sure it's included before they put them out. So I think this is happening this week. All these pots are going out this week. So, I'm really happy that this is gonna happen for downtown. Thank you. And Kit, I do apologize. So Kit had brought up the Welcome to Mystic sign, and this is important because I know a lot of effort has been in Pawcatuck. I totally realize that, and we do not want to forget our Mystic friends. I think the situation too is knowing that the Mystic Garden Club has been doing pots in downtown for quite a few years, and they take care of the Mystic Depot and some other areas. It's important that we're doing projects in Mystic. It's important that we have eyes out in Mystic and what's needed, and what's going to be also when we do projects in Mystic, that we have the volunteers to help maintain what we're doing. So, Kit, if you want to talk a little bit about the Mystic sign, so we can have a little bit of a discussion on what you're envisioning. And just to clarify, and I apologize, I do not have a picture. The Welcome to Mystic sign is on Route 1, just at the top of the Masons Island traffic light. Am I getting that right, Kit?
It's just past the bike shop.
Just between the bike shop and the light, would you say?
It's closer to the bike shop.
Okay, thank you. I feel like I have, I've been on quarantine and I basically go from home to work to home to work. So I feel like I haven't been in Mystic in a while. So why don't you talk a little bit about your vision for that, Kit, and then we can open it up for discussion.
Yeah, I just, over the years, I've just been impressed with the sign. It's the signs. There's several of them, but there's one on the top of the hill near the church coming, down that hill into downtown Mystic, but it's pretty much in concrete. So there's nothing much to draw attention to that. But the one by the bike shop that we were referring to is set back from the road a little bit, and I don't think anybody notices it at all. And the thought was that perhaps we could do some kind of a garden there, although, I'd appreciate anybody else's input on this. My feeling is, it doesn't really allow for any kind of a garden that would support it because it's not a big area. But I thought at the very least, maybe what we could do is put some kind of a solar light there that would light it up, obviously in the dark or darkish, and at least their eyes would be drawn to it. Because what's happening, I think, is most people that go by there, not only that is it set back, but they're looking to the traffic light, as they should be. But unless they're sitting in traffic, you don't see it. And I just think it's unfortunate. So that was the idea.
Any comments?
Yeah, Julie. Well, first off, Kit, what did you think about the one on 27 by the cemetery? Also, I know that one's a little closer to the road. And
Yeah,
then the,
you know,
go ahead.
whatever we do at any of them, I think would be valuable.
All right, and then my only other comment, Julie, is whatever the plants that IO used down in Pawtucket on Mechanic Street, those pretty much kind of took care of themselves. I don't know, did she have to water that much there or something? I mean, that might be something to do at the bottom of those.
I know she put perennials in, so that was something, again, that.
Yeah, just behind the sign by the bike shop, it's just overgrown, you know. So, I mean, you could put something that wouldn't require much of anything with maybe some color in front of the sign. That would be great. But
Like the ones IO put in, I think on Mechanic Street, I don't believe that takes much maintenance at all. And then the other spot in 27, that is in the grass area, the snow shelf that it's called. It's in between the road and the sidewalk. That's the other one. That's in our town. That's in the Stonington side.
yeah, yeah.
This is Kristen. Is there an opportunity to get creative and construct some kind of planter that affixes to the metal post that holds the sign? Is it a metal post or wooden post?
I think it's a wooden post.
Yeah, they're wooden, like 4x4 post, I believe, holding it up.
Because the sign is wood.
Is there an opportunity to create like a planter around the post where we could plant and it's up off the ground so it wouldn't get destroyed?
Like put a bracket on it, maybe, like almost like a window box, but on there.
Yeah.
That is something that could be happen on both of them, and actually, it might be better to do that on both of them than have it on the ground, like you said.
It would, I think it's destroyed.
I don't know. I'm in the car and I just drove by the one by Mason's Island, and I definitely think there's plenty of room down below. And I think that some of the pollinating plants, I believe like Russian sage and maybe the black-eyed Susies, the yellow and the purple would pop, and I believe they're pollinating plants as well, so it could go along with the theme.
That would be great. If that could be
That's a great idea.
if it could be cleared out the back, that would be great.
The other location might be the one to hang something off of it, because I know the cemetery does mow the grass under there, and I don't know if they would do anything with anything on the ground there. So Kristen's idea might be for the other spot.
Okay.
So let's keep this on the agenda for next month. So I think we need to come up with a design that we all agree on. As far as solar light, I would imagine if we decide to go that route, we would have to go through the police commission. Help me out here, Sue Collin. What do you think with something like that? Any kind of light? Is that police commission or DOT?
In terms of, hanging things off of the signs, is that what you mean, or?
If there is a solar light on the ground shooting up to the sign?
I think, oh boy.
I know.
I think it's going to depend on its location because it could probably get hit by equipment.
Yeah, by the roadside mower or something.
Yeah, by the roadside mowers or by plows.
Okay.
I can't believe there's nothing that you could attach to the pole that would shine up to the, out and up.
Didn't we
Sign.
think of something on top last time? Didn't we talk about something on top that kind of hung over?
Yeah.
I thought we did.
Well, I think we need to, next meeting, if we can get a design and a price, and then if we need to either bring it to Board of Selectmen or Police
Public
Commission.
Works put the signs in themselves. I know they did that. I don't know where they came from, but I know Public Works did put those in a long time ago.
I think.
I can answer that actually. Those signs were constructed by someone from Mystic Seaport because the one on the Groton side had to be restored last year. And it was like a hand-painted restoration. It actually took quite a long time to restore.
No, it's a beautiful sign. Julie, do you want me to look into what is available as far as lighting?
Yeah, and I think, I'm sure whoever made the sign, I mean, we'd have to be really careful as far as attachment. We don't want to upset anybody. Just to make sure we have approval as far as attaching. I think the design of the garden would be important as far as how wide it's coming, and then if something needs to be attached, that's something that I'm guessing, and I'm guessing we have to go through Police Commission. I don't know if we have to go through DOT. like I said, I feel like we're all learning as we go with this. So, but if you can, if anyone's welcome to support Kit on this, as far as working on a design, I'm all for pollinating gardens. I'm all for low maintenance. I think if we put a pot there, I'm just concerned who's going to water it and also safety. Safety is always the big thing. So,
Honestly, Julie, that spot is pretty safe compared to some of the other ones. Yes, compared to some of the other ones. My only suggestion with a pollinating garden or anything like that is to make it so there's a border around it, because if the roadside mower goes by and just sees that stuff, they're gonna think it's weeds and cut it down. So there has to be either pavers or like a wooden thing like we've done for the pollinator gardens, just a border around it to specify what it exactly is.
Okay, perfect.
I'll take a look at what the options might be, and I'll do some poking around for solar stuff, and I'll be ready to report on it next meeting.
Thank you so much. And anyone, just whoever wants to help Kit, please just reach out to her.
I think, this is Carol. I think, Danny, if I'm not correct, I think Eric had suggested some type of solar lighting. Remember he put the ones in the pots in the island. I think, was it over Christmas or the fall? And he said he had a great site kit that had different kinds of lights that were solar. And they're temperate, they're not fixed. So
it's almost like, the ones that you can like clip on something. I'm picturing something like that, like clipping on it and it draping down and shining on the sign itself.
That'd be great, right?
All right, I'm gonna, because me, we're getting to 4 minutes, and I just want to go briefly on old business. Stonington Monuments, again, we continue to basically target where they all are, and again, make and look to see if they need maintenance, and also future discussion for next month if there's a pot or something that needs to be added in Stonington. So I want you guys to think on that for next month. Right now we have a pot at VFW Memorial and one at the Korean Memorial. If I'm forgetting one, please add on. But again, it's more or less advocating that they're being taken care of. Okay. Kit, do you want to add anything to that, or do you want to move on?
No, I thought about it. I was kind of thinking about around the Welcome to Stonington sign.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna first that's definitely going to be a topic for the future to see what we have access to as far as that property is state owned. But why don't we put that on for next agenda? Is great idea. Welcome to Stonington sign.
I just asked everybody to go by there and look and see what it looks like right now too. I had to throw that in. Julie,
okay.
Sorry.
Let me and I just want to be careful of everybody's time. So let's put that on next month's agenda. Kit, you had a report on the Amtrak train bridge as far as the cleanup in Pawcatuck?
Yeah, just quickly. I did hear back from them because I followed up after everything fell apart, and they committed to doing something. I'm not sure what that specifically is, but what I talked to them about was cleaning the bridge up, cleaning the walls, and they have agreed to do that by the end of the summer, is what they told me.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for advocating for that. That's great news. We've been advocating for that a long time, so that's good news. Route 1 Island project, Sean, do you want to report on that? So first of all, thank you for getting that
done. Nothing really to report. I mean, it's all done. I actually just going to pick up Sophia and just realized that someone did drive over part of the edge. But
ready.
So, but that's why we planted so far away from the edge. We knew it was going to happen. But there's nothing else to report. It's done. It's going to have to be weeded throughout the summer. That's about it.
Okay. Well, thank you. This has been a 3-year project for you, and thank you for sticking with it, because it absolutely. Thank you for that. Kristen, do you want to report on beautification awards or contests, or do you want to table that for next month?
We can table it. What I'll do is kind of write up a quick draft of what I'm thinking. And you guys can let me know if you want to move in that direction or if we want to make any kind of adjustments. Trying to take into account like the social distancing and all of those things, knowing they'll likely go into the fall and into next year. So I have a couple of things I thought of. So I'll type that up and send it out for next meeting.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. All right, so that leads to comments from the public. So if you are the public and you would like to say something, now's the time, but please identify yourself and your address, please.
Is this the time where I talk?
Oh, is this Ellen? Oh, yep. Okay, Ellen.
Yeah, this is Ellen.
And just so, can you just spell your last name just so I didn't type it wrong?
It's spelled Knizeski.
Okay, 1 Z, not 2.
Correct, and it's pronounced Nizeski, silent K.
Okay, sorry about that. And you're a Stonington resident?
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you. You go
Yep.
right ahead. Thank you.
So I got interested in the club. Carol Nassik kind of turned me on to the club, and I've seen a lot of, not club, committee, sorry about that. I've seen a lot of pictures on Facebook. There's just a lot of positive things going around, and I'd like to get involved, kind of maybe start out slow, like maybe help with watering, or, you know, maybe there's another project coming up that I could get introduced to. Just want to get involved. And I think you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you so much. And you are so welcome. And definitely want to get your contact information from Carol, or have Carol be your contact person. But we could use your help. And yes, you're totally welcome. And thank you for listening in. Any other comments? Thank you so much. Any other comments from the public? Okay. Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Sean moves to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Yes,
Second.
second.
Okay, I just want to thank everybody for logging on and our first go round. I really appreciate it. I must say I've been sweating over this. This isn't my, this is beyond my comfort zone. I am not tech savvy. So I really appreciate everybody's support. Deb, thank you so much. Susan Cullen, thank you so much for logging on and taking the time with us, and thank you for your amazing support. All right.
Can you just state your adjourn time?
Oh, thank you. The time is oh, forgive me.
6:04.
Oh, thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And our next meeting is July 20th.
Good job, Julie.
All right. Have a good night. Bye. Good. You're good. Thank you. Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk soon.